everyone. Now before we begin, let me give you a small scenario. Imagine there is a beekeeper who sets up a farm on the edge of a village. Now this beekeeper is just trying to sell honey and make profit, correct? But something else is also happening along with him earning a profit. What happens is the bees, they start pollinating the crops of every farmer nearby. Now these farmers never paid the beekeeper, but still their yields, the harvest goes up. Now this aids to the income of the farmers. Now this benefit that the farmers are getting is a positive externality of production. And in today's video, we will break it down completely, the definition, diagram, real examples and government solutions. And at the end of the video, I'll give you some tips as to how you're supposed to use certain scenarios and certain examples in your exams. Welcome to Economics with Jagdeep. My name is Jagdeep, and without wasting any time further, let's get started. Before we begin, let's take a look at what externality is. So externality is ideally a spillover, cost or benefit for the third parties who are not engaged in the transaction. Now externality can arise from production activities and consumption activities. They can be positive and negative for each of these activities. Today's focus is positive production externalities. Now what is a positive production externality? So a positive production externality would refer to a benefit that is received by a third party due to a production activity. Now who is a third party? A third party is somebody who is neither the producer nor the buyer, so somebody else entirely. So benefit here is indicating the third party is actually getting something, it is gaining something, or you can say their welfare increases. That means the impact of this production activity is positive. Followed? Now since we are talking in terms of production externalities, we are looking at the productive activity. That means maybe there is production of a commodity or provision of a service. Alright, so this is exactly what they would expect you to write in your exam. Now let us take a look at some examples to make it a little more concrete. Alright, so first example over here is workers training. Now we are looking at large firms investing in training its employees. Now these workers, they gain skills, correct? Now when some of them eventually quit their jobs and move on to other companies, now these companies who are gaining these new employees, they get skilled workers and they don't have to pay any additional money to train these new workers. So this firm is now creating the benefits for other firms where they are not spending more money on training. That's a benefit for these other firms. So that's a positive production externality, correct? The second example is a forestry company. Now forestry companies are basically the ones, they are planting trees. For what? For timber. They sell timber, wood, correct? But these trees, when they are planted, will they just provide benefit to the business? No, the trees would also do what they are supposed to do, as in emit oxygen, clean the air, prevent floods, correct? So the community around this estate, this real estate, will benefit. Now that's an external benefit. Pharmaceutical research. So any business or any company that is investing in bringing in a new drug, a new medicine. Now this process of research and development is expensive, correct? It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. So now once this business comes up with maybe new knowledge and discoveries, other researchers and medical professionals can use this research. Now that is a positive spillover and hence a positive production externality. Alright, so now in the exam, when you are asked to give an example, you just do not say that, let us say a pharmaceutical research leads to positive externalities. You will always have to say who the third party is and what benefit are they receiving. Then you will get better marks. Alright, let's take a look at the key terms. So we have these key terms over here. We have marginal social cost and marginal private cost. Marginal external cost. I have made a proper video explaining all of these three components. I shall link it somewhere in the video or probably in the description box. You can take a look at that to understand these first, because if you don't understand what these terms are, you would not understand the diagram either. So let's take a look at the diagram. Diagram is the segment that gives you maximum marks. So it's imperative that you build it carefully and label it properly. Alright, let's take a look at the diagram. So in the diagram over here, we have already labeled the y and the x-axis. So the y-axis is labeled cost, benefits and price, and x-axis is labeled as quantity or output. Alright, I've also drawn the initial curves. So this is the demand curve, or you can also call it as marginal social benefit equals marginal private benefit. Now, why did I write this? I've already explained in each of the videos prior to this. Whenever we are talking about externalities in one side of the market, the other side would be assumed without any externality. Since we are looking at externalities of production, we are assuming there are no externalities in the consumption side of the market. Okay. Now, this is your supply curve, or you may call it as marginal private cost. Now, marginal private cost is basically the firm's cost of producing one additional unit. This over here is your equilibrium, and this is your market price, and this is your market quantity, or you could say this is the price and quantity in the free market. Now, in the free market, what is happening? We are seeing that marginal private cost is intersecting the marginal social benefit or private benefit curve. Now, in this case, this equilibrium is not socially optimum, because in the production side, we are just focused on private costs. We did not consider the externalities yet. So let's draw the MSE curve, or marginal social cost curve. All right. Students, if you are finding this video helpful, please consider using the thanks button below. Your support is super crucial for creating high quality and free content for students just like you. Thank you for all your support so far. Also, if you are watching this video from your mobile phone, please hit the hype button so YouTube could push this video to more learners just like yourself. Let's come back to the diagram. Let's plot the MSE curve. Let us say this is your MSE curve. So let me call it as S1 is equal to MSC. Now, what is MSE? MSE is marginal social cost. Now, in this scenario, the marginal social cost curve is lying below the private cost, because production of a commodity or a service is creating external benefits to the third parties. That means the true cost to the society is lower than the firm's private cost. So MSE curve will fall below the private cost curve. Okay. Now, how do you figure out MSE is lower than MPC? We can take a look at here. This is your private cost and this is your social cost. So this is social cost and this is private cost. All right. So at point E, what is happening? We'll jot that down as well. So at point E, there are two things that are happening. First, marginal private cost is equal to marginal private benefit. Second, marginal private cost is greater than marginal social cost. And there's one more that we generally write. Marginal social benefit is also greater than marginal social cost. We need this thing to be equal. Okay. Now we see the new equilibrium over here. Let's get the price and quantity coordinates. So this is your price socially optimum, quantity socially optimum. This is your equilibrium 1. Now the vertical distance between private costs and social cost represents externalities. Okay, in this case it is MEC. All right, and we need to mention that this is a right word shift. Okay, so now we can see that the socially optimum level of output is larger, however the price is lower. Correct? What does this indicate? It indicates that at E again, I'll write it over here, what was happening? There was underproduction of this particular commodity relative to what is best for the society. Now when the externalities are considered, the market is now producing at this level which is socially optimum. It maximizes social welfare, and this triangle here is basically the deadweight loss. Let me name the triangle as well. Let me call it as T. So triangle E, E1 and T is the dead weight loss. Let me shade it as well. I'm shading it with this blue color. Let me just label it as well. So this is your dead weight loss. Now why is it called dead weight loss? Because this triangle here is representing the net benefit that the society is missing out because of underproduction. Clear? So what is the diagram telling us? The diagram is telling us there is market failure. Why? Because there is underproduction of this good. The market isn't producing enough of this good, and because of this the market has failed. All right. Students, if you are struggling with this topic, consider joining one of my online tutoring sessions where we can explore this topic in depth. I'm currently helping students from multiple countries like UAE, Singapore, Qatar and Hong Kong. I invite you to contact me directly at the number displayed on your screen. Do not miss out on a complimentary 30-minute session. Let's get back to market failure. So now why is the market failing? We've already taken a look at. We have underproduction and at a higher price, because of which the market has failed, and we've also seen that this is what the market have missed on, the society has missed out on, right? Now this here is basically called allocative inefficiency, because resources are not being allocated effectively to maximize social welfare. All right. So in one simple line, positive externalities of production causes the commodities to be underproduced, resulting in the welfare loss to the society. Now what can government basically do to take care of it? So we do have some government solutions over here. The first thing that government can do is provide subsidies. So when a government provides subsidies, the output increases, and at the same time it would bring down the cost of production. So this will encourage firms to increase the output to QSO, which is socially optimum level. Other thing that the government could do is government could start providing it directly. So direct provision is also another thing that government could do. So what government would do over here is government would take over the production of the commodity and it will provide it maybe absolutely free or sometimes at a subsidized cost. Now this will ensure socially optimum quantities produced, and even if the private market won't do it. Okay. The next thing is government could make some regulations around it. That means government could pass some laws regarding firms, necessitating firms to undertake certain activities such as training the employees. All right. Now government could also offer tax reliefs or grants to firms. So this would also create positive externalities, for example in case of green technology companies. Now this will make it financially attractive for such firms to produce more. All right. Now let's take a look at your exam tips. So the first thing that you need to pay attention is you need to always mention the third parties. Who are the people benefiting from that? For example, in case of the bee example, the honeybee example, farmers were getting benefited, right? We need to remember that MSC lies below MPC, alright? This is very important. You change this sequence, your diagram goes completely wrong. You need to label everything in the diagram like I have labeled it. If you don't remember what I did, please go back and check the diagram out again. We need to keep production and consumption externalities separate. So production externalities are externalities that happen due to productive activities. You need to give your logical chain of reasoning. That means you are supposed to state whatever the scenario is, you are supposed to reason it out, and then you're supposed to give the effect of that segment, and then finally give out the conclusion. You may connect your ideas with words like because, therefore, this means that, and so on. And finally, you would want to evaluate. Now, for evaluation, you will have to show both sides. That means the positives and the negatives. Now, for example, let us say the subsidy segment. So, subsidy works because it will bring down the cost. That's the positive. The negative is, but it requires government funding and it may lead to opportunity cost because government could use this money elsewhere. Alright, I hope I have made this topic absolutely clear to you. If you find it difficult, you may contact me and we can go over it at length. The PDF revision notes for this topic are linked in the description box below. Download them, print them, or stick them wherever you want, where you could actually see them and keep rereading it. Alright, I shall see you in the next video. Until then, bye now. Take care.